I'm right in the middle of an action sequence, but I wanted to reflect. It's been 22 years since we started this saga. I'm grateful that everybody that comes to be a part of the franchise wants to give their all.
The cars, the sound, the songs, the attitude, and frankly, the friendship, it's the sum of everything I've loved in the Fast and Furious universe.
In this Fast and Furious, Fast 10, the beginning of the end, we prove that the impossible can be possible.
I'm still trying to understand how we continue to outdo ourselves.
The team is putting everything that they've got into it.
The enormity of everything hits you like a right hand to the jaw.
And then you're like, can you make it bigger? We just made it bigger.
It is true entertainment on a massive canvas, with a new villain, with new stakes, real stakes.
Fast 10. Oh!
Vin is very adamant about making sure that we tie things together. So I wasn't really surprised that there was a tie back to Fast 5.
Everybody stand by to shoot.
If you think about the franchise as a whole, like it is sort of like a Rubik's Cube of 10 refers to 5, which refers to 2, which refers to 1. It's like a puzzle, and Vin's got it all in his head.
When I first started reading the script of Fast 10, it was just kind of like Fast 5, where each and every one of the characters have this integral role of putting the pieces of this phenomenal puzzle together.
The concept was to allow these archetypes on screen to relate to the people who've been supporting us for a quarter of a century.
Everybody has their favorite Fast and Furious. I think critically, a lot of people point to 5. It was almost the Fast and Furious Avengers at the time. We were doing something that nobody really had done yet. And that was kind of bringing the greatest hits or characters from this franchise together in this amazing locale.
Just having all that history of 5 with the vault chase scene carrying over into number 10 and those relationships make it more weighty and more interesting.
This is a film so incredibly authentic to the Fast universe, maybe more authentic to the Fast universe than anyone we've done in a long time.
Here we go. Set and 3, 2, 1, action.
I mean, Fast 5 truly is my favorite Fast movie. It has everything that I love. It has the Fast universe, but also amazing physical car stunts, and it's a heist movie, and I love heist movies. So the idea of generating your villain out of the events of Fast 5 and creating a flashback and opening the movie with another point of view of the Fast 5. The only way to truly do this was to immerse ourselves back into this movie 11 years later and shoot with the same cameras, the same lenses, the same film stock. It's shot on film. We shot the rest of the movie digitally, but this was shot on film. Going to the same places, that same bridge, going back to Rio, shooting this. That was very important to us. And Joaquin came back, and it felt real. And like walking through the set with Joaquin, we're in this weird business where we get to re-experience our lives decades later. And Joaquin had truly weird deja vu of like, yeah, I was here on that set doing exactly the same thing. For me as a fan, it was like one of the greatest moments.
Camera and action.
Well, very unexpected. I was shooting in Europe, I had a ticket to go back, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I guess I'll stay in Europe a little longer. This still fits. The same outfit, the pants normally don't fit, this one's fit.
You're in fantasy.
All right, let's go.
I've watched these movies religiously, like since they came out, and I watched them again and again. I analyzed them, loved them first, and analyzed them afterwards. So I knew everything about it, inside and out. So it really helped me look at the themes. It's the end of the road. It's it's the beginning of the end. So it needs to be the total sum, and yet something completely different. We'll do one shot long length, and then we'll come in close.
I felt like there was a need to relate to everybody that's in the audience and say, we're all feeling unsure at the moment. Even Dom.
Dom this time He's worried for his family and worried for the world. The stakes are real. He's met his match. We don't know where he's going. It's strange to have an enemy who adores you.
Dominic
Has analyzed you and has learned from you for 20 years, who's trying to mimic you, and it's scary for Dom. I said Vin.
This is really an adversary that was born out of the past movies. In Fast 5, Hernan Reyes was on the bridge of Rio, where the climax of that movie happened. What you didn't see is that he had a son who was knocked off that bridge by that safe, who for 2 minutes was potentially dead, and then came back and had a new perspective on life.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
We're always looking for what we can carry over to the next movies. It's hard to create new villains. It's much better when you actually have history, and unbeknownst to Vin, he had a lot of history with Dante's character. He just didn't know it.
Odame!
Jason Momoa is somebody that I had been watching clocking.
I can't believe I'm racing the great Dom Toretto.
The character needed somebody that, at face value, one could regard his formidable stature as a worthy adversary, but also be willing to approach a character with a completely unique take that is so dynamic and grounded with a palpable pain.
You get everything from me. I hadn't played a villain in probably 10 years, and I wanted to bring something to the lineage that hadn't been done yet, and something that could face off against Dom and his family, and you had to be a certain psychotic, and you had to be playful, and he'd just been done wrong in his world. How do you choose the ones you save?
I thought that no one could top Cypher in how evil she is, how smart and cunning she is, and in comes Dante. Dante scares Cypher. She sees the devil in Dante.
They say when you're facing death, your life flashes before your eyes. Are they right?
Our first scene in the movie is the first thing that we shot, and so we didn't meet each other until we actually showed up on set, and he just came into this room with this lace detailed open shirt that was flowing, and the hair and the body and the tan. He just comes in, guns blazing. And then I catch myself, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the scene. I have to act right now. You want to kill Dom.
The first thing I pitched, I basically said I'd like to play him like this. I knew the colors I wanted. I was like, it's gonna be very pastel. And then they were like, we love it, we love it, we love it. And then once they said that they would let me do that, then I was like, I'm in, 100%. We go black, we go silver, double, just smash in someone's face. I'm very particular with props and wardrobe because that's the part about building a character, right?
The guy, he will drive a 1927, open-top Rolls-Royce on the freeway, and he will lean out of his car during a race. He's also a gearhead like no one else, and he really loves and respects the engine and smells of grease and fun.
See how lucky we are?
You made the right choice, baby! Oh, made the right choice, baby!
That guy lives life to the fullest, for sure. His character is just outrageously fun.
He had a huge Bluetooth speaker and just was jamming out, and you could see everybody picks up the rhythm. It's like, oh, all right. And I know he's doing it to get himself ready, but that energy is infectious.
I feel like Nick Cage right now. I approach it like an audience member, going what do I want to see? And that's the thing that gets me excited is I want to play something that people are like, whoa, I like him. It goes to him, guns on her, he sees the red dot. Yeah. I'm like, got your ass.
You want to love your antagonist. I mean, for me, the best villains, the best antagonists are the ones you fall in love with.
Be good.
It's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before.
Fancy jacket, expensive earrings. Those have to hurt. They really brought out the big guns, huh?
Every time somebody new comes into our franchise, it blows my mind that we get to work with such incredible actors.
When I saw the roster of new characters coming to the franchise, you get excited because you can already understand that these people have a phenomenal energy when you see them in other projects.
Sometimes I scratch my head, but it's a testament to how far we've come. We are able to attract these powerhouse actors and actresses and these talents from all over the world.
We have Jason Momoa, Brie Larson, Alan Ritchson, Daniela Melchior. We have Rita Moreno.
Hey, you bandidos! I am starving! Come on!
The movie starts with the barbecue. It starts with the family happy. Dom is with his family and they're together, all together. Abuelita comes and we see the generations of the Toretto around this one table.
That's a cut.
You are fabulous! You are fabulous people! I am now a Toretto.
You are now a Toretto. Most people on the planet would say that the architect of any family that's the most instrumental for its existence is a grandmother.
To be a part of this franchise, Fast and Furious, is the last thing in the world that I ever expected. It is so thrilling. It is so amazing to turn and they say, oh my God, that's ludicrous. Holy, well, I won't say the word. It's astonishing. They are fun, they're wonderful people, they're terrific actors, but more important is that they represent, in a very important way, the world. I have to lay it at the hands of Vin, who this means a great deal to. And to be thought of as his grandma, abuelita, in this is beyond words. I don't know how to express it, but here I am at 90. Who would have thunk?
We were in line to sort of quiz her on her career and her experiences, and she was so game, which was incredible.
I love this woman. She is grace. She makes every room better the moment she walks in.
You look great. I love your look, Mom.
Hey, great.
She's also the first grandmother we've had in Fast and the Furious, so she continues to be the first to do everything. And what a lucky man I am to have had at least 50 hugs. And whenever she would do a scene, you say, cut, and you got the behind-the-scene footage, I would walk up and I would go, that was so great. She was like, oh, my baby. And I'd be like, ah, I've wanted nothing more than a grandmother to touch my face like that and say, you're doing so well, babe.
Then we start eating. Then, we can do some cutaways. It was hard because we only had 4 Academy Award winners in this movie. It's incredible. I had myself up in the morning looking in my mirror. I was like, okay, you're directing Fast and Furious. Today's Charlize Theron. Tomorrow it's Rita Moreno. Then you have Brie Larson.
Brie's such a wonderful talent, and the film is better because of it. Nothing's impossible. You just have to have a little faith.
Oh my God, that was too iconic. I'm sorry, I did not know that you were gonna do that. Oh my God, it's a fan. I put it on the floor. No, you didn't just do that. Okay, yeah.
Oh goodness, how did I come to be a part of this? I feel like it's a lot of synchronicity. And by synchronicity, meaning I begged. I could have never imagined it would be the ending of this incredible saga with this family that I've grown up watching. It's beyond my expectations to be here. Because I mean, if you're asking me what I thought when they told me I got the job, I was screaming through my house. But if you want to know what my actual process was, that's different. You boys look like you could use a drink. How about a round on me? In thinking about Mr. Nobody, I started realizing that he comes in and he saves the day many times. What is he doing in all of those gaps when you're not seeing him? And perhaps he's been with me this whole time.
Will you please get off my car?
Brie came to this franchise with nothing but love, and she came to have fun.
Ready and action.
Honestly, I don't know what to call you. Little Miss Nobody?
Alan came to play as well. Alan was there every day, working so hard, being the best friend that we all needed, and coming from unit to unit, working on weekends, and just being absolutely incredible. His character was complex because like Fast and Furious, it's never black or white, it's always shades of gray.
Okay, here we go.
Ames is disarmingly unflappable. He's got that down-home charm, while duplicitous under the surface that we get a sense of pretty quickly. He explores the duality of man. You don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Get word to every snitch, smuggler, hitter, and hacker we've ever used. Money talks, and so will they.
It's the wall that Dom is heading towards, and literally and figuratively. I mean, Alan Richardson is a massive person. So the idea of having these two colliding trains heading towards each other, about to collide, is actually another antagonist that I got to play with.
You racing or what?
Danielle, we both transitioned into the Fast universe, and I'm so very happy for her.
Isabel comes in unexpectedly. The Racer X, the one that wins all the races, comes out of this yellow Datsun, and she's incredible, and she's full of life, and everybody admires her.
Hey, cameraman.
I've been discovering Isabel a little bit every day. She's tough, but at the same time, she's more vulnerable than she thinks. She's broken. She has this need of putting the blame somewhere.
She was the good sister. Why the good one and not me?
It's interesting with these characters because you feel it. You feel it when they walk on set. There's an energy that creates, that shifts, and we want to give our best because we know that these actors are giving us their best. And that's very, very impressive.
Okay, second team.
This is for your trailer.
The first thing that I could tell about Louis was that he was a true fan of the franchise. I can tell that the franchise had a personal impact in his life. And it was obvious that it was more than a job for him. It was so obvious that he wanted to honor the mythology.
And everybody recognizes the Charger. Dom is a legend. 10 years ago, he came and changed Rio forever. Okay, so I was directing my first movie. I was 26 years old. A friend of mine was with me, and it was a movie. There were cars, there were fights, and this amazing movie coming from America called The Fast and Furious was coming out. After a day of maybe rehearsing or shooting, actually, we went to the Champs-Élysées, the two of us, and we watched this movie, and it just blew our mind up. It was just like the best thing we've ever seen. I turned to my friend and I said, we have to do something like this. This is the bar that we have to jump over. And my friend turned to me and said, yes. And his name is Jason Statham, and that was the transporter. And we just, you know, it just has defined our life and our career since the very beginning.
Maybe Dom can be.
Louis was wonderful. I mean, God, he started off by like giving everyone his number, which I was like, dude, you have no idea what you just did because we're all gonna come at you strong. And we did.
I don't know how many hours of sleep this guy gets, but he comes to work every day like he's got a full 8-9 hours. And from what I understand, he probably averages about 2 hours a week. So for him to work Monday through Saturday, by the way, Sunday is the only day off, and he doesn't even take a day off on Sunday. He's editing on Sunday. This guy is a machine. This isn't a human being.
This, too, is Fast and Furious.
We work all day, and then we let the whole crew go home. And then every day after work, Louis and I would work for 2 more hours, fine-tuning and prepping for the next day or week or month. It was a needed process to take all of the Fast and Furious experience and marry it with his enthusiasm. And it was an incredibly enjoyable process.
Good.
I thought I would never be able to bring my tone. I grew up in Europe, in France. I traveled the world, studied in New York, came to LA. I'm influenced by tons of things. It's very clear in my cinema and, you know, in the TV shows I make. So I thought that although I love Fast and Furious, I didn't want to do just a homage of a Fast and Furious movie. I wanted to make my Fast and Furious movie, which would be the ultimate Fast and Furious movie. I like having fun when I direct. I like the audience to have fun. I like the actors to have fun while this is happening. It is true entertainment on a massive canvas.
2 grenades exploded, taking out SUVs, and now they're chasing a truck that has Tej and Ramsey inside, locked inside. You know?
Some of the best directors I've worked with are writers themselves. They come up with their own ideas and they have their own take on it and effortlessly guide things towards this better idea, you know, improvements. He's never just like, tomorrow we're shooting scene 34. You know, like he is improving this, and if there's an idea worth shooting, we're gonna shoot it.
All right, let's shoot it.
He doesn't waste anybody's time. Just knows what he wants, gets to it. still leaves enough room for you to play.
And then keep going until the light.
Obviously, it's one thing to be brought in as a talented director. What helped is Louis was already being a fan. Sure as heck gave it that extra passion that you might not have gotten from somebody that just brought his talent alone into this.
So you can see over your left shoulder.
Louis came with the enthusiasm of a child, with the love for the franchise, with the respect for the franchise, and he just came in with his smile. And he came in with this love and enthusiasm. You know, that giddiness of being able to see the potential in something.
Kindness is his superpower. He's a sweet soul and a generous soul.
The concept of family is as powerful on screen as it is off screen. They welcome you as a director, a newcomer, just like a family. The movie is a collaboration. I'm not a sculptor, I'm not a painter, I'm a director. I need an entire crew, an entire cast, screenwriters, producers, an entire studio to make the best movie possible. And I felt like that happened.
Yeah, on my day job.
Yeah, Louis!
Wow, what a presentation.
From shooting the first movie in Los Angeles to now having basically shot everywhere in the world and on Fast 10, from London to Rome to Turin to Portugal to LA, it's like we've gone completely full circle.
One of the things that Vin threw down was, I want this Fast to go to different continents. We are a global franchise, and I want to make sure that we're walking the talk.
Great.
Buongiorno, Roma.
All right. Rome brought scale and history to the franchise. Having this chase in those tiny streets and these massive explosions, it was the playground that the Fast and Furious franchise was needing. I mean, the Seven Hills of Rome, as we know them very well, create a giant playground for Dante and his rolling bomb. Also, Rome, at the bottom of the hill, there's the Vatican, and it's heading towards the Vatican. We know how important Dom's faith is to him. Pick Dom and make him responsible for blowing up the Vatican is the greatest insult.
I've shot all over the world, and coming to Rome and shooting there was a huge challenge. There's so many ancient ruins, the streets, everything you just really didn't want to touch or hurt. So it made it really challenging for us because this bomb rolling through, destroying cars and trucks and everything. One of the locations were the Spanish Steps. I was like, they're not gonna even let us close this down, and sure enough, they let us shut it down.
And that's the beauty of Fast. You gotta come up with ideas that are different. Effects. Came up with some different ways of making the bomb that we could actually use around people. An overhead headline, an axle through the center of the bomb so you can control it, and a push and pull and all this other stuff. One on the front or the back of a vehicle so you could drive it down the road. We tested the first one, it was 1.2 tons. Steel ball. Tested great, went through a breakaway wall, looked really nice. The steel one's great for a lot of things, but I can't have it going down a narrow road in this 1.2 ton steel ball around people. So I said, you need to build me a lightweight one that's got a rubber coating on it. I think it was like 400 pounds, 500 pounds. You could hit it with your fist and it would sink in about that deep. It's not lethal like that steel one would be, but it did not crush cars. And then we had to have a ball that's on fire. Today we're filming a section of the chase where 8-foot burning bomb comes blowing through the staircase up there, rolling down here, and Dom is doing everything he can to stop it. And he's got his charger is coming down the stairs backwards. There's a big 180, and he's ripping down these stairs. We've got a little gag here where Dom saves one of the people with 2 dogs.
The heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise, boots on the ground, on location,
Oh, that's sick, dude. Oh, what a fucking badass, yo.
You're ripping past the Vatican, or you're shutting down the Spanish Steps, and then ripping past it, and there's like kids screaming. I'm like, what am I doing right now? This is crazy. I'll remember it forever.
Luckily, we all escaped Rome unscathed, and it was great.
Let's turn over all other cameras.
Yeah, man, we're out here in this rock quarry in the middle of Portugal. It's hot, it's like 100 degrees, but good spirits, good crew, and we're doing some rad stuff.
The whole idea with the third act is that Jacob and Little B, they're hidden in an enormous cavernous rock quarry, and Dante attacks this rock quarry with everything he has. We had 35 cars coming at them from all different sides. It was an enormous scout to find a rock quarry that could do the massive amount of stunts that we had to do there.
So I nicknamed this car the Hell Camino. It's basically this exoskeleton metal structure with all these cannons on it that we're firing at these two minis in this scene that we're about to do. This is a super precision piece just because they're getting towed in from an effects rig at 40 miles an hour. So I have to match their speed and then not go past my mark.
We've got all this rock coming down and crushing cars, and we did it all for real because they said, you can have anything you want, you can do anything you want. We're gonna shut the place down for you because you're fast and furious, and we just had a field day with it. Onto the freeway, all the bad guys are attacking Jacob, and we're destroying cars and knocking cars all over the place. And Dom does what Dom does best, and he drops this car out backwards and almost 100 feet through the air and crushes those cars. We've got cars flipping everywhere, and the freeway is a complete massacre.
I'm out of this race. It has to be you.
Hey, Dom! Got a little surprise for you.
Jacob makes the ultimate sacrifice, which blows the car up in the air. It's a huge explosion. We've got cars flipping in the air. We did it all for real. It's one of those types of shots that's 1 in a million to get because we knew the timing was really specific and it worked flawlessly.
The fight between Letty and Cypher is a battle royale.
I think we went to the root of the characters, who they truly are, and that they truly interact. We went with practical effects.
So everything you see in the film has been done for real, fight-wise. There is no cheat.
Letty's pretty angry in this scene.
It is hard finding good help these days.
Charlize, we wanted to combine the fact she was super smart and also super agile.
I was thoroughly excited when it was like, get your ass out of a building, fighting 12 of your guards who you have trained. That was an amazing challenge.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yep. I love the fight work. Yeah, I feel like I'm not earning my paycheck until there's a fist fight happening on set somewhere. I try and get in a fist fight on every show I'm on.
Good. Got it ahead. Reviewing. All right, here we go.
When Mia and Little B are in trouble, when the agency comes into the house and tries to capture them, somebody bursts into the door to save Little B, and that's Uncle Jacob. And he starts fighting.
We throw a guy out a window, and I remember John making certain adjustments to it and telling the stunt coordinator, you know, I really think we should do it this way, and this is gonna look hokey, but this won't.
We're all on the same page, and nobody's rushing that fight.
Okay.
I just felt really bad for the stuntman because he was just going through glass like over and over and over again.
Don't do the same at home, okay?
Yeah. Even though we're gonna try this in a home. Patrick and Olivier put together this fight, and they wanted to know, is it okay if we use your signature maneuver, the attitude adjustment? It's almost like a fireman's carry. We're gonna pick up someone like a sack and then just flip them over your head. And they thought it would be a cool homage. And the way they constructed it is the person would then go through the floor, and that would kind of be my way to get down to Mia waiting below. And now the John Cena attitude adjustment is immortalized in the global phenomenon that is Fast.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
So myself is Tej because I'm always behind the computer screen and the technologically advanced individual. I'm so happy when I'm able to get some action.
What are we talking about? Yeah, baby. Yeah.
We knew from the script that we had a fight.
Gotcha. But I'm doing this. Boom. And come in.
So I don't know why Vin was on set this day, but he walked on the set after watching the fight scene, and he had his arms crossed, you know, and I'm like, oh shit, we really in trouble.
You know what I mean? This is like the little office.
What he ended up saying was, the fight you guys had was beautiful, but how do we come out of it and not have this tension and friction and this moment to carry us through the rest of the movie? Man, Ludacris looked at each other and was like, huh. He gave us a chance to discover. That was a big bro moment.
What the hell was that? It's like a ghetto magician.
Shooting this scene with this car, the Charger, the 69 Charger, at Dodger Stadium with downtown LA and the sun setting in the background is just a dream come true. It is truly, as a fan and as a director of Fast X, it's something that I've been waiting this entire time.
Find the line, feel the car, and let it fly.
I think Fast does a really good job of keeping the car as an extension of oneself. The Charger with the supercharger or blower motor is such a direct reflection of Dom, and even gold Lamborghini that Roman drives.
It's time to shine!
The cars have to work together. You know, if it's a battle, typically you want the cars to be evenly matched between our hero and our villain.
I win, baby!
Motorcycles are a big part of this one as well, which is great. The Honda that she rides in Act 1 is a little retro, a little 70s looking. Alex King came up with some great concepts. This has a unique look that you don't see, and I think it really fit her character well.
In Rome, I mean, it's sexy, for sure.
We're not building big trucks on Fast 10 until they wanted to build this big truck. The specific role which was unique for this truck was the payload, which is an enormous cylindrical bomb. So I think it's about 14 foot high, 32 foot long. Not as big as the mother trucker that we built for Fast 9. That's undoubtedly the biggest thing I've built. And it needed to be small-ish, otherwise you'd never get it around the streets of Rome.
That was awesome!
Dennis built and supplied the BMWs, and then we did the Defenders and Toyota FJs that I thought looked new, hadn't seen them, they're off-road, I thought they'd be great for the quarry, and being British, I couldn't resist offering up the Mini Countryman as a nod to the Mini. They were quite cool, and lots got blown up, demolished, crushed, destroyed.
You made one mistake. You never took my car.
It was important for us to create shots that hadn't been seen since Fast 1. I created our version of the iconic travel through the engine. The visual effects are so much greater and so much better. We scan the entire engine and we see what NOS really does. It's fantastic. You pinch yourself every day on Fast and Furious. There's no day that's like, it's a normal movie day.
We've done a lot of daring things in this franchise. And if there was ever a moment to be this daring, we hope that we've earned it after 23 years. To truly tell a finale, we needed more than just the length of one movie. We knew that it would call for our film to be broken into multiple pieces.
You're exactly where I wanted you to be.
When you end a movie with a cliffhanger of that magnitude, You only do that when you believe that your audience believes in you. You only attempt that when you know that you've earned the trust of your audience.